Welcome to Count Dankula 2, where you get all of your major news like a week and a half later. Sorry, I've been really busy. Suspect held after apparent assassination attempt on Donald Trump at Florida golf course. Ex-president safe and well after Secret Service agents opened fire when they spotted person with firearm. But before we get started, something that will never get old for me. Have you been in an accident that wasn't your fault? Then you could be entitled to compensation. But what does get old is insurance companies' habit of lowballing you when you're at your most vulnerable and burying you under tons and tons of paperwork until you're too overwhelmed to do anything about it. I know how hard it is to be given the runaround while trying to get through a case and having to deal with work, family, and life in general on top of it all. It's far too many plates to spin alone, but luckily Morgan & Morgan is on hand to ease that burden if you become their client. All they need you to do is answer a few easy questions to get the ball rolling. And from there, you'll get your free case evaluation and your lawyers will keep you posted through your smartphone. Morgan & Morgan operates in all 50 US states, so even if you're one of the 5 people who lives in Wyoming, you can join one of over 3 million people for whom they have recovered over $20 billion. And if, God forbid, Morgan & Morgan does not win your case, the fee is completely free. But you can be sure that Morgan & Morgan has the means to fight for the best result possible, since they will put a team of lawyers, investigators and paralegals on your case. And your concerns won't go unanswered because 24/7 support is provided by almost 4,000 support staff. That's almost a whole legion. So, if you've been seriously injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan by going to forthepeople.com/countdankula or by clicking the link down in the description to get started on a claim. A suspect has been arrested and an AK-47 style assault rifle and scope recovered at a Donald Trump golf course in Florida as the FBI investigated what appears to be an attempted assassination of the former president. On Sunday afternoon, Secret Service agents scouting the course ahead of where Trump was playing spotted the muzzle of a firearm poking through a fence in a wooded area at the Trump International Club in West Palm Beach, officials said. The agent opened fire and the suspect fled, the Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw told reporters. He said a witness took photographs of the suspect and the vehicle he drove off in, and and a person was later stopped and detained on Interstate 95 by deputies in Martin County, immediately north of Palm Beach County. The FBI, in a statement, said the agency believed it was the second attempt on Trump's life in 2 months after he was injured in a shooting at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on 13th July. A spectator was killed, 2 others were injured, and Secret Service snipers shot the would-be assassin dead. Trump was immediately surrounded by security personnel and was unharmed in Sunday's incident, which occurred about 1:30 p.m. As he was between the 5th and 6th holes, Bradshaw said, adding that his deputies immediately sealed off the area. And that's what it was there. The sheriff estimates the person was spotted between 300 and 500 yards from where Trump was, but with a rifle and the scope like that, that's not a long distance, he said. Bradshaw did not identify the suspect, but a source with direct knowledge of the investigation confirmed to The Guardian the suspect's name was Ryan Wesley Ruth. The Guardian also spoke to Ruth's son, Orrin Ruth, who confirmed his father had been detained, but did not provide further details. Later on Sunday, images emerged of Secret Service and Homeland Security agents searching a former home of the suspect. Voter registration documents in North Carolina show a man of the same name, aged either 57 or 58, residing in Julian and registered as a Democrat, having voted most recently in March this year. A social media account belonging to a person with a matching name features numerous posts strongly supporting Ukraine in its war with Russia and urging Congress to allow US service members to fight in the conflict as civilians. The same account shows support for both Republicans and Democrats, including Trump. Trump, during last week's presidential debate in Pennsylvania, repeatedly refused to say if he wanted Ukraine to win the war. I see it as 2 foreign countries doing foreign country things, and therefore it has nothing to do with America. Nothing to do with America. Right? It's just world police bullshit. That's what it is. I mean, it's terrible. It's absolutely, again, it's terrible and absolutely rotten what's happening, but I mean, you want to risk World War III? I mean, I'm not. I'm not dying for countries that don't give a shit about me. Fuck that. The discovery of a GoPro camera mounted on a fence beside two backpacks. 2 seconds. Just gonna mute that. I'm popular, you see. The discovery of a GoPro camera mounted on a fence besides two backpacks and close to the rifle and scope, allegedly left behind by the person, fueled speculation that they intended to film or live stream their actions. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, "Hey, I saw a guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag," Bradshaw said. We were able to get a hit in that vehicle on I-95. The witness that witnessed the incident, we took him up there and he identified the suspect as the person he saw running out of the bushes and jumped into the car. Joe Biden released a statement on Sunday evening expressing concern about the incident and political violence, even though Joe Biden's party outwardly constantly encourages violence against Republicans, especially Donald Trump, because he's the second coming of Hitler that absolutely must be stopped. And if you repeat that enough and enough times, then that is going to radicalize a lot of people into doing something about it, which is their plan. I have been briefed by my team regarding that. This is why the main channel videos take so many takes. I get tongue-tied all the time. It's why it takes me so long to film. Regarding that federal law enforcement is investigating as a possible assassination attempt on former President Trump today, he said. A suspect is in custody, and I commend the work of the Secret Service and their law enforcement partners for their vigilance and their efforts to keep the former president and those around him safe. I am relieved that the former president is unharmed. There is an active investigation into this incident as law enforcement gathers more details about what happened. As I have said many times, there is no place for political violence or for any violence ever in our country. And I have directed my team to continue to ensure that Secret Service has every resource, capability, and protective measure necessary to ensure the former president's continued safety. The sheriff of Martin County, William Snyder, described the apprehension of the suspect. He said his deputies immediately flooded I-95 on the northbound lane at every exit between the Palm Beach line and St. Lucie County line, after receiving the alert, and spotted and stopped the vehicle. The sheriff said the suspect was unarmed and no weapon was immediately visible. The suspect, whom Snyder said was now in the custody of the FBI, offered no resistance. The suspect's demeanour I would describe as having a relatively calm, flat effect, he said. He was not displaying a lot of emotions. He never asked, "What is this about?" Obviously, law enforcement was there with long rifles, blue lights, a lot going on. He never questioned it. He was not armed when we took him out of the car. Bradshaw told the press conference that the arrested person made no statement now as far as his involvement in the incident, and there's further investigation to be completed. David Arenberg, state attorney for Palm Beach County, said, "Our prosecutors are currently working up warrants and a motion for pre-trial detention for the suspect. In that way, he will be kept in custody." I mean, I would imagine so, with the very, very, very serious offence he just tried to commit. In a statement to supporters, Trump said, "There were gunshots in my vicinity, but before rumours start spiralling out of control, I wanted you to hear this first. I am safe and well. Nothing will slow me down. I will never surrender." He later thanked the Secret Service and law enforcement for keeping him safe on what he called an interesting day. The Republican South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham said Trump was in good spirits after returning to Mar-a-Lago, his nearby home in Palm Beach, following the incident. Just spoke with President Trump. "He is one of the strongest people I've ever known. He's in good spirits and he's more resolved than ever to save our country," Graham posted to X. The White House said Biden and Kamala Harris had been briefed about the incident. They are relieved to know that he is safe. They will be kept regularly updated by their team, a spokesperson said. Harris, the Democratic nominee who is running for president against Trump in the 5th November election, said in a statement on X, "I am deeply disturbed by the possible assassination attempt of former President Trump today. As we gather the facts, I will be clear, I condemn political violence. We must all do our part to ensure that this incident does not lead to more violence," even though that's probably kind of what they want. They want Trump dead. They do. Like, 2 shooters in the space of 2 months, after years and years and years of rhetoric from the Democrat Party and also the media. And another interesting thing, do you know that both shooters appeared in BlackRock adverts? One of them also, when he was over in Ukraine, because it turns out that the Ruth guy actually went over to fight in Ukraine, a place where the CIA is operating very, very heavily, and it's very, 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 very likely that he ran into one or two tourists while he was over there. And, I'm just saying, it's weird. It's just weird. I just think it's food for thought. Chuck Schumer, the Democratic Senate Majority Leader, echoed Harris in his own statement. There is no place in this country for political violence of any kind. The perpetrator must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, he said. I completely agree there shouldn't be such a thing as political violence. However, when you are using every single institution under your control to paint this man as literally Hitler, what do you think people are going to do? What do you think people are going to do if you tell them that? You know what they're going to do. That's why you're doing it. The Fox News host Sean Hannity told viewers that he also spoke to Trump and confirmed that the former president was safe and unharmed. Hannity added that Trump was on the fifth hole and about to putt when Secret Service pounced on the president, covered him. You had snipers with tripods. They knew the direction where the shots had been fired, and they had eyes on the location where the shots had been fired, Hannity said. Citing a source, Natalie Winters, the co-host of War Room, which is hosted by the former Trump White House strategist Steve Bannon, said on X that Trump was placed in a hard room for protection after the gunfire. Now, basically, this is the results of years and years and years of rhetoric. Years and years and years of everybody saying, oh, he's a fascist, he's literally Hitler, he's this, he's that, he's blah, 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 blah. That's going to make people terrified and frightened, and when people get terrified and frightened, they tend to do silly things. Especially when basically anybody that kills Trump knows that they are going to be remembered by the history books, because again, you say that history is written by the winners. I would say it's written by the people who control the flow of information, and well, we all know who that is. But basically, they know that they will go down in history as a hero. They know that. And a lot of people will, be quite happy to throw their own life away so that they go down in history forever remembered as the great hero that stopped the evil fascist dictator Trump that's literally going to put gay people in camps, which is what they were saying before the last election. And hey ho, guess what? That never happened. The wall also never happened. But hey, this is the accumulation of this rhetoric. This is the plan behind this rhetoric. Get people terrified enough where if you don't want to do anything yourself, you just have to throw the right comments in the right direction until eventually those comments reach a schizo, and hey ho, they'll take care of that problem for you. Because again, there's many, many, many amazing things that you can achieve when you control the flow of information. Right? There's a reason why schizophrenics are allowed out in the street. There's a reason why a lot of these people were on the FBI's radar, and yet, strangely, they were all left alone. And the reason they were left alone is that little guy might come in handy one day.